Greetings everyone, it's IT2, and I just wanted to make a video because I haven't made one in a while and catch you guys up on what I've been up to. Mostly about what I've been watching on TV and stuff, and YouTube. And there was this podcast Neil Brennan did. He's the guy that did the writing on Dave Chappelle's show. And he did, he took DMT and ayahuasca and had a crazy trip that he tells on this Andrew Schultz's podcast. It was really interesting. I may need to do a whole video about that because it's really, he had some crazy things happen. And then I've been watching a lot of football, and I've been watching these guys do this thing called IMDb races, which I might want to do on stream one night, which is where one or two or three people go on IMDb and you have to like connect this to this, kind of like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game, but you have to do it through clicking on different actors and movies that they've been in together and stuff. But then I was playing Rocket League a little while ago and I was listening to some holiday music because I wasn't really like, all through like October I was in the Halloween mood, and then right when it gets around Halloween I start getting into a Christmassy mood for some reason. It's weird. And then I kind of went away in November and I haven't really gotten a Christmassy mood yet. I haven't had a Christmas tree since I moved out of my parents' house. I just realized I don't think I've ever put up decorations or anything. But I like listening to music sometimes, and my favorite Christmas song is Marshmallow World by Dean Martin. And my second favorite is Sleigh Ride by, is it Jerry Mathis, I think? Black guy. And then I was listening to It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and I noticed these lyrics says, there'll be scary ghost stories and tales of glories of Christmases long, long ago. So I'm like, well, why wouldn't there be scary ghost stories? I was like, oh wait, Ebenezer Scrooge, that whole thing was like a ghost story. So maybe in the olden times, like the 1800s, Christmas was about telling ghost stories and shit. Like it's a second Halloween. And like we've had first breakfast, but when we have second breakfast, like Christmas is a pretty spooky time of the year. And let me just switch over to my browser. Let me show you her. I forgot to set this up. I've been finding some stuff. These guys here is called Appalachian Intelligence. They have a podcast. I guess it's around like Kentucky and Appalachia's where I live. So I haven't listened to any of them yet. But the topics are really... They're talking about manta rays in here. That kind of reminds me of that Somerset story. Witch of Dunlora. I've never heard of that. Glimmerman sounds cool. Train collides with UFO. Shadow Horde. Like, they got a lot of weird things that they talk about. I kind of want to get into this. They got a lot of episodes. And then I've been watching this show, Paranormal Lockdown, which most of these ghost hunter shows are real bad. Like, you got all these guys that are supposed to be real into ghost hunting, and as soon as they get to, like, a haunted house, they're like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to go in there, I don't want to be here, I hate this. Like, what are you here for if you're not a ghost hunter? But Paranormal Lockdown, here's one of the episodes. So they got this thing, it's like a device that you look through it, and I guess it scans different light frequencies or something, or wavelengths of light, and if it detects, like, a humanoid figure, it draws a stick figure there, and it's like you get these like weird ghosts that show up on camera because it's like it makes a stick figure. It's really spooky. One was like smashed up against a wall too. It's like almost like they were like stuck to the house, like they were haunting it. And then if you haven't seen this show right here, this is the guys that did the Hellier that I made several videos about. They got a new Haunted Objects podcast. Greg Dana Newkirk. Oh, I've also been watching this. This is the 4-hour... These guys, I don't know who they are. It's called Overnight, but apparently they really impressed the guy that... You remember Greg and... No, not Greg. I think Greg and Dana are like the new Warrens. What are the Warrens' names? I can't remember. Well, one's a demonologist and one's like a... what do you call it? Psychic. Ed and Lorraine Warren, right? So they died. They had a daughter. She married a different guy that she just like waved at by accident. She thought he was somebody else and she waved at him and they fell in love at first sight and they got married. So I don't know if she's still alive, but that guy is now in charge of all this stuff. And there's another guy that's kind of, he seems like he's taking it real serious, like he's a little bit crazy about it or religious or something. And these haunted objects, especially the Annabelle doll, they were even giving warnings, like if you're watching this video through YouTube, you gotta like say prayers and envision yourself in a white light and all this other kind of stuff. It's kind of crazy. But they got that same thing there, and they kept detecting these stick figures on the Annabelle doll in its case. They had to like transfer it to an old case so they could put the new blessings and stuff on the old case. So it's like they had to take it out of the case for a minute, and they had to put on like gloves and drench their hands in holy water. It's kind of this big deal. There's also like a bunch of other stuff in that room. I don't know if they spent the night there. I'm only like halfway through this thing. Yeah, full investigation. And they start doing, oh, what do they got, like those little dowsing rods? What? This guy, see, I don't feel like I can take him seriously because he's wearing like a headband and ninja pants, and it's like, how did they earn this guy's respect? What did they do? Anyway, oh, this is a game. I'm just gonna go through my tabs in the order that they're up there because I don't remember. This is I guess a new, what do you call it? New graphic engine. Some kind of like horror game. It's called Luto. Does it say what it's called? But it looks really cool. Like you collect objects and maybe you combine them like in the old Zork and Myst kind of games. But the graphics look pretty sick. I think they've also added some stuff for Phasmagoria. Or Phantasmagoria, what's it called? Phasmophobia. Yeah. We need to play that again. So, there's that, and then, okay, here's the Planet Weird podcast. So, these are really good. They come out every 2 weeks, every other Monday. And the first one is about the Amityville Horror House. They actually have a piece of wood that was from the house. The second one is about the Dark Mirror, which is really cool. It's like a black, I don't know if it's painted black, it's got obsidian in it or something. It's like a black mirror that you stare into it, and people see all kinds of stuff, like their face will start smiling at them, or they'll see another version of themselves behind them, like coming separate from their face, or people walking behind them, or ghosts, or really cool stuff that you can do with a black mirror. I don't know if it has to be that specific one, or you can just make your own and it'll still do stuff. But then you got Betty Hill's alien abduction story. She's like had a piece of a dress that she supposedly like got abducted in. So they talk about aliens in that one. But then this latest one, they talk about these Dybbuk boxes. Like there's all these dudes that are like, they're selling them on eBay for hundreds of dollars, and it's like supposed to have demons trapped inside of them. It's like a Jewish curse. And at the end, spoiler alert, they just show that there's a guy that invented the term Dybbuk box, totally made up the whole thing, and it's like none of them are real. And everybody's freaking out, and they're having all these interactions with them. And then they're trying to say, like, well, maybe if you think it's real, then you're putting your intent into it, and you're actually haunting it yourself, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But they went to this, what was it called, the Stutz Mansion or something like that, in Paranormal Lockdown, and they had that, and they had all of their big haunted objects, like the Billy the Idol, haunted idol. That one, they actually had a 3D printer. They were trying to like scan it, to put it in a 3D printer, and it wouldn't scan because the ghost or demon or whatever's inside of it wouldn't. I guess it had to be a demon because they say like human spirits can't inhabit objects. But yeah, it wouldn't let them scan it. There's like this egg shape in front of it, like it wouldn't scan, and then they had to like talk him into it, and then they could scan it. It was weird. Yeah, well, there's that one, and there's like this little, the crone, looks like this little statue with nails in its eyes. I think they tried to like decurse it and took the nails out and buried it or something later on. And then they took that black mirror too. There's like 4 objects. They put them in different places in the house. They're trying to like activate these ghosts and get them to do stuff, and it's pretty cool. They actually had a lot of stuff happen. So, like, I'm really into this show right here. If I wish it would come out every week instead of every 2 weeks because it's so good. I can look forward to it. It's not like your typical ghost hunter show. These guys are actually, I should get onto their Patreon so I can see all their other content. I think they have like hundreds of hours of stuff. The new podcast before this one came out. Then you got this Dark Holler, which is kind of like Hellier but different. I didn't really like it. It's about this girl who is like a former meth addict, and she got baptized, and then they think something weird happened during the baptism because she just kind of acted like she was in pain. Didn't really sound very convincing. And there's a lot, like, they sound like super religious too, like they're trying to convert you into religion or something. Here's another show, apparently. Fall of 23, Shadow Appalachia. So that's going to be like a year from now. That might be good. What did I watch? 3 of these? I got halfway, I started on 4. And there's 5 episodes. I don't know. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been watching. Football-wise, I was kind of like, you know, most people have their teams that they like, and they just kind of support them the whole team or whole year. What I do is I watch like a lot of games on the first game of the season, and I see who's playing like they're playing good, and then I'll be kind of rooting for that team. So like I think the Bills had a good game in the first playoff or whatever, the first season openers. What's it called? Sports Corner. I need to do a Sports Corner. I've got all these weird rule things I've been thinking about too, like what about this for sports? I need to do that video. So yeah, Buffalo Bills, I was kind of like watching them really good, and then the Falcons had a good running game a while back, so I was like, started liking the Falcons. And then like the Browns, and Browns always do stupid shit though. They always lose, but Bengals-Browns game was pretty good. I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, I think I want to rank all of the sports teams according to their logo design and their colors of their outfits. Because I think that's really what a lot of people go by. I think a lot of people, like, they pick the colors, like the Raiders fans probably just like the goth. I don't know. There's something to that. Anyway, I don't really have a lot of plans for Christmas. I'm going to go to my mom and dad's on the 20th, I think. And then spend a couple days down there. So, I'll see you guys later.